usually on the some of the efficiency measures on economic efficiency, technical efficiency, allocative efficiency, and the other scale efficiency we use to uh, measure the efficiency of a production. So as we know that there are technical efficiency, allocative efficiency, and economic efficiency. So in the case of economic efficiency, by multiplying the technical and allocative efficiency, we can able to get the economic efficiency. So in the case of allocative efficiency means how the farmer is allocating his inputs based on the prices. So that is in the case of margin rate of technical substitution with price ratio. We need to equate the MRS to price ratio. Then only we can able to get the allocative efficiency. So what are all the types of data needed? So for the case of technical efficiency, the production data itself enough. So we can using the production data. We don't need the price data for calculating the technical efficiency. But in the case of allocative efficiency, we need to have the price data also. Then only we can able to get the allocative efficiency. So by calculating the technical and allocative efficiency, we can able to derive the economic efficiency. So first we are going to see what is meant by technical efficiency. So usually the technical efficiency has classified into two things. So one is based on the output oriented approach, another one is input oriented approach. So now we are going to see what is meant by output oriented approach, what is meant by input oriented approach. So usually we are taking one input and one output. So the one input is fertilizer, we are taking it is in x-axis, and another output is output is in the y-axis, that is yield. So actually, if we are going to survey means, so after doing survey, we used to plot the data. So I am plotted the data in the scattered matrix. For example, what is the meaning of this point means? So certain amount of yield using certain amount of fertilizer. So using certain amount of fertilizer, the farmer will get certain amount of yield. So I just need to connect the lines with x-axis and y-axis. Based on that, I can able to get the values. So I just have plotted the observed data of we can take it as rice yield or paddy yield or wheat yield. So just I have plotted the values. So actually this is the front air. So I just border value, that is the maximum value. I am connecting the border values. For example, so this is the point A. So at the point A, the farmer has used 100 kgs of fertilizer. He get the yield of 120 tons of rice. Similarly, this is the point B. So at this point B, the farmer uses 200 kgs of fertilizer and he attains the yield of 50 tons. So I use it to connect the maximum yield, that is nothing but front air. So actually below the front air, if the farmer lies below the front air means he is inefficient farmer. That is nothing but there will be a gap between point A and point C. So for example, this farmer, that is point A, the farmer A uses 100 kgs of fertilizer and he gets the output of 120 tons. Similarly, the point B, so the farmer B, he uses only 200 kg of fertilizer. With that, he gets 50 tons of yield. So he is also efficient. He is also efficient. But the farmer C, so he uses 1000 kgs of fertilizer and he only gets the 50 tons of yield. So that means the farmer C is inefficient compared to farmer A and farmer B. So earlier I mentioned that there are two types of approach. So one is input oriented approach, another one is output oriented approach. So first we are going to see what is meant by output oriented approach. So output oriented approach technical efficiency is nothing but, so for example, I am my intention is to calculate the technical efficiency or technical inefficiency of the C farmer. So we can name it as Chinnasamy farmer. So my intention is want to calculate the technical efficiency or inefficiency of the Chinnasamy farmer. This is A is nothing but Annamalai farmer. We can take it as Annamalai. So usually we can see that the in the case of output oriented technical efficiency, so our intention is to calculate the uh, how can we increase the input of Chinnasamy farmer at the same level of input usage. That is the same level of 100 kg. How much the output is lagging between A and C. So that is our intention of using the output oriented approach. So I just want to know, so whether the technical efficiency is absolute measure or a relative measure. So whether the technical efficiency is a relative measure or absolute measure. So actually the technical efficiency is a relative measure. That means I can able to relate the highest yield attained by that area or attained by uh, at the village level. So I can able to relate each and individual farmer's yield with that the maximum attainable yield. So because of that only the technical efficiency is a relative measure. It's not an absolute measure. So you have to know the technical efficiency is a relative measure. So as I said that, so the output oriented technical efficiency is nothing but how much can output quantities be proportionally expanded without altering the input quantities used. So as I said earlier, so both A and C are used the same level of input, that is 100 kgs of input fertilizer they have used. So but we can see there is a difference between the yield. So the output oriented measure is how much can be output quantities be proportionally expanded. So how much can be expanded without altering the input quantities. That is nothing but we are not altering the input quantities. So with the same level of input, how much we can able to increase the yield of Chinnasamy. That is the output oriented approach. So here input is same level, but our intention is output oriented. So how much we can improve the output of Chinnasamy. That is our intention. So how the output oriented technical efficiency works means it can be calculated by the ratio of CE divided by AE. That is nothing but, so this is the numerator is CE divided by AE. So as we know that CE is nothing but, so he produces 50 tonnes of yield. So 50 tonnes divided by 120 tonnes, we will get the 0.416%. So that is nothing but, so he is lagging, that is Chinnasamy is lagging the yield of 0.416%. That is nothing but we can improve the yield of Chinnasamy with the same level of input. So with using the 1000 kgs of input, we can able to increase the Chinnasamy's yield because Chinnasamy is technically inefficient. So we can increase his yield by 0.41%. So this is the case of output oriented technical efficiency. So as I said that there is another case, that is nothing but input oriented technical efficiency. So that is nothing but we can measure the input oriented approach. So input oriented approach is nothing but we can get the same yield by reducing the input. So at the point B, he gets the yield of 50 tonnes, but he is using 200 kgs of yield. Similarly, C, that is Chinnasamy farmer, also using the 1000 kgs of he is used 1000 kgs to get the same yield. So B also getting 50 tonnes, C also getting 50 tonnes, but the input usage is different. So in the case of input oriented technical efficiency, our intention is to calculate to get the same level of input with the lesser level of input. So we can achieve 50 tonnes using 200 kgs itself. So for that, how to calculate the input oriented technical efficiency means we can use the ratio of dB. So dB is the value of 200 kgs and DC. This is not BC, this is DC. So DC is nothing but 1000. So 200 divided by 1000, we will get 0.2. That is nothing but, so Chinnasamy farmer can able to achieve the same level of output, that is 50 tonnes with 0.2% itself. So Chinnasamy farmer is using 1000 kgs of fertilizer, but he can able to achieve the same level of output with 0.2% of input. So this is the case of input oriented technical efficiency. So as we know that the output oriented technical efficiency is nothing but we are not altering the input. So with the same level of input, we are increasing the output. So on the other hand, so how much can be input quantities be proportionally reduced? So yeah, we can with the efficiency measure we can able to know the if we can reduce the input usage by 0.8%. So because ALLE he used 1000 kgs, so the efficiency can be reduced by 0.8%. That is 800 kgs can be reduced, or otherwise we can say it as with 0.2% of input efficiency itself, we can achieve the same level of output. So this is the two different approaches of technical efficiency. One is input oriented, another one is output oriented. So next, how to derive technical efficiency? So actually, technical efficiency can be calculated through two different types of approaches. One is data envelopment approach, another one is frontier approach. So the data envelopment approach is a parametric approach or non-parametric approach. DE approach. So, am I audible?
Sir.
Okay. So as I said that technical efficiency can be derived from both things. One is DEA, another one is frontier. So actually data envelopment analysis is a non-parametric approach. So non-parametric approach means it does not have any assumptions. So it does not have any statistical terms. That is t-test values, z values. So it won't have these things. So DA is a non-parametric approach, but frontier is a parametric approach. So parametric approach means it will have some of the assumptions and other things. So what are the softwares we can use to derive the technical efficiency? So actually DEA can be derived using Stata or DAP. So actually the DAP software will release by Queensland website. So you can get the DA software, but it is a non-parametric approach. So usually most of them are preferred the parametric approach. So Frontier also can be used to derive from Stata or Frontier 4.41. So usually the Frontier software also released by Queensland University. So with that we can use any software. So our topic is Frontier on Stata. So actually there are different types of Frontier. So as I said that output oriented technical efficiency approach, another one is input oriented technical efficiency approach, another one is distance function. So and there are so many functions are available to derive the Frontier. So actually we know what is meant by output oriented technical efficiency. So we have also seen what is meant by input oriented technical efficiency. So that is nothing but, so output oriented is nothing but with the same level of input, how much the farmer is inefficient. So with the same level of input, how much the farmer can able to increase his output. That is the output oriented approach. On the other hand, input oriented approach means with the same level of yield, how much he can able to reduce his input. So that can be derived from the input oriented approach. So actually, as I said that under output oriented approach, there are distribution free approach. Another one is distributional approach. So in the case of input oriented technical efficiency also, it has the same classification, distribution approach. Another one is non-distribution approach. So distribution free approach means nothing but, so it does not follows any distribution. So usually we had the assumption that the error should have follows some of the distribution. Usually the error should follows the normal distribution. Usually the data are normal distributed, means usually the error should follows the normal distribution. So in that case, that is the presence of distributional approach. So on the other hand, the distribution free approach means it does not contains any, it does not follows any distribution. So under distribution approach, we can able to derive the technical efficiency using the corrected OLS. Another one is mean mean efficiency. So based on the mean efficiency, we can able to calculate the technical efficiency. Another one is thick front error. So using thick front error also, we can able to derive the technical efficiency. So on the other hand, distributional approach. So under distributional approach, there are so many distributional approach. So in the case of half normal distribution approach, so we had an assumption that error has distributed half normally. So the error follows the distribution of half normal distribution. So truncated normal means, so error has a follows the truncated normal distribution. For example, in your data, some of for some of the observation, the inefficiency is 0, means then you have to use the truncated normal distribution. So truncated is nothing but that is a incontinuous. So usually there will be a 0 in the error term. For example, uh, if we take 100 farmers, so 100 farmers, paddy farmers means some of the farmers will be technically efficient. So for them, the error will be 0. So when there are more farmers are having the error value is 0, means then we have to use the truncated normal distribution. So based on the error values only, we have to adopt the models. Another one is exponential. So it has the assumption of the error follows the exponential distributions. So first we are going to see, so before that, we just want to know what is the stochastic frontier production. So the stochastic frontier production, it has the assumption of the error has a two different terms. So the error has two different terms of errors. So actually, while we are using the econometric approach, means usually the econometric function will have a there is a dependent variable. Dependent variable is the function of independent variables. So usually we can take it as, for example, we take a production function. For example, a farmer is cultivating paddy. So usually he will get certain yield. So yield is dependent on certain inputs like fertilizer, seed, and some other input factors. So actually, the yield is depends on fertilizer and also the error terms. For example, the yield is not only depends on the input factor that we used, it also influenced by some other factors which are not included in the model. For example, the rainfall and some other climatic variables which can also influence the yield. So that is the random error. So usually we can split the error. So here you can see ln of y, that is nothing but yield is the function of inputs, function of x is nothing but inputs, plus this is the random term, that is error. So the yield can be influenced by inputs which are included in the model and inputs which may be not included in the model. So this error may be random error. So in the case of frontal production, they have classified the error into two different terms. One is random error, another one is inefficiency error. So that is nothing but the change in the yield is a function of inefficiency also. So inefficiency in allocating the things. So this also, the inefficiency term also influences the yield of the farmer. So this is the case of stochastic front-end. So this is the basic assumption. So in the case of stochastic front-end production, the error has two different terms. One is randomness, error due to randomness. Another one is error due to inefficiency. So the inefficiency error term is usually said to be one-sided error. That is, it has a negative value only. That means if a farmer has an inefficiency value of 0.5 means it will reduces the yield. So usually inefficiency reduce the yield. It would not increase the yield. Because of that, we use the negative term. So whatever inefficiency he have, it will be reduced. This is the yield. So because of that, it is said to be one-sided error. It has the value of negative values. So on the other hand, VA. So VA is nothing but random error. It has a double-sided error. It may have positive value. It may have negative value. Because sometimes the rainfall may increase the yield. Sometimes the rainfall may decreases the yield. So because of that, the VA is said to be double-sided error. So on the other hand, UA is said to be error due to inefficiency. It is said to be one-sided error. It has only the negative value. So for example, usually it has the value of greater than 0. For example, the inefficiency is greater than means usually it will reduces the yield. So this is the basic assumptions of stochastic production function. So as I said earlier, so now I am assuming there is no random error in this model. So y is nothing but yield of paddy. So ln of ya is nothing but this is the maximum yield. So that is nothing but predicted yield. So ln of y is equal to predicted yield minus UA. UA is the random error, inefficiency error. So I am assuming that there is no double-sided error or no random error. So I am assuming that there is the presence of only inefficiency error. So usually I am rearranging this equation. So by rearranging nothing but, so I am keeping the minus UA and taking the predicted YA to the left hand side. That is, I will get the ln of YA minus ln of predicted one. So usually using the formula log of x minus log of y, I will get log of x divided by y. So that is nothing but log of y divided by log of ya minus ua equal to log of ya divided by log of ya star. So by taking, so I just want to remove the log term. That is nothing but by taking the exponential, I can able to remove the log term. So I am taking exponential by both sides. So by taking the exponential, that is nothing but anti-log exponential of minus ua equal to. So here the log will be cancelled because of I am taking the exponential. That is nothing but anti-log. So I will get the ya divided by ya star. So this is the formula to calculate the technical efficiency. So earlier case we have also seen that the technical efficiency is nothing but the ratio between the actual yield divided by maximum attainable yield. So in our earlier case also we have seen that in the case of output oriented approach. So in the case of output oriented approach, we have seen the ratio. So as I said that CE divided by AE. So CE is nothing but the actual output of Chinnasamy and AE is nothing but the maximum yield attained by Annamalai. That is nothing but in that area itself. So out of the total survey, the maximum yield attained by this person. So C divided by AE, CE divided by AE, I can able to get the technical efficiency. So this is what I have mentioned in the equation. So yi divided by yi, that is predicted yi. So here I can able to get the technical efficiency. So as I said that there are two different approaches. So first one is distribution free approach. So distribution free approach is nothing but it does not have any distributional assumptions on the error component. So then it is said to be distributional free approach. So under distribution approach, we have seen corrected OLS and CMAD and thick frontier approaches. So first we are going to see corrected OLS approach. So using the corrected OLS approach, also we can able to derive the technical efficiency. So, but here some of the limitations. So as I said earlier, it has a assumption of the error has classified into two different error components. So one is random error, another one is inefficiency error. But in this case, it assumes that there is only inefficiency errors are occurring. So it has the assumption that there is no random error. So usually in real world, there will occur of random errors also. So, but in the case of corrected OLS, it assumes that there is only one error, and it takes the whole error as a inefficiency error. So it does not provides room to random error. So that is the major limitations of using distribution free approaches to calculate the technical efficiency. So I will give some of the examples how to derive the corrected OLS. So how to derive the technical efficiency using the corrected OLS. So usually we will derive the technical efficiency from the OLS only. So first we will run the OLS regression. Then we will calculate at the error value. So and then we have adjusted the maximum error value with the intercept of OLS. So at the second stage, the OLS intercept is adjusted upward by the amount of maximum error. So usually first we run the OLS regression. After running OLS regression, we will predict the error values. So after predicting error values, we have to select the maximum error in that predicted errors. So after getting the maximum error, we have to adjust the maximum error with the intercept value. So then only we can able to calculate the technical efficiency. So usually the formula for technical efficiency is nothing but exponential of minus ui. For production function approach, we have to use the for calculating technical efficiency, we have to use the formula exponential of minus ui. So this is what we have derived. No, actually to calculate the yi divided by actual yi, that is nothing but actual yield divided by maximum potential yield. So to derive this, we have to use the formula exp minus of ui is the formula to get the technical efficiency. So if we are calculating the cost frontier, so now what I am deriving is the production frontier. There is another case is cost frontier. So for cost frontier, we cannot use the exponential of minus ui formula. So for that, if we use minus ui means it won't applicable. So for that we use exponential of ui. So because as I said that in the case of production function, we are using dependent variable as a yield. But in the case of cost frontier, we will be using the total cost. So as I said earlier, the UA is nothing but inefficiency error. So usually inefficiency increases, the yield will be reduces. On the other hand, the total cost in the case of cost frontier, if we use the plus UA, so earlier case we have used the minus UA. In the case of cost frontier, we will use the exponential of U simply UA. So So as I said that the distribution function. So under distribution free function, first we have seen what is meant by corrected OLS. Corrected OLS is nothing but first we have to run the regression. After running the regression, we will have to predict the error values. So then we have to choose the maximum error value in the predicted thing. So then we have to adjust the maximum error value with the intercept values. So then we can able to get the other things. So here you can see. So once I run the OLS means I get the maximum error value. So here I have mentioned maximum EA. So maximum EA is nothing but maximum error value which I get from the OLS. So beta naught is nothing but the intercept. So I have to add the intercept to the maximum EA. So by that I can able to derive the technical efficiency. So after that one is CMAD. So corrected mean absolute deviation. So earlier case, in the case of corrected OLS, we have used the OLS. So usually the CMAD using the median value. So actually OLS uses the mean value. For example, if you are running OLS means usually it will calculate the mean value of. So for example, 100 persons income we are taking the regression means it will provide the mean value of all the 100 persons. On the other hand, the CMAD, that is nothing but corrected mean absolute deviation, will use as the median value. So this is the major difference between the corrected OLS and CMAD. So CMAD also using the same approaches only. So in the case of CMAD, we using the quantile regression. So earlier we have used ordinary regression, OLS regression. For the case of corrected mean absolute deviation, we are going to use the quantile regression. So with that quantile regression, we will derive the technical efficiency. So similarly, the case of thick front error also. So it also follows the same pattern, but it includes some of the random error also. So the CMAD and COLS are includes or assumes the error is only the inefficiency error. It does not include the random error. So but the basic assumption is the error has two different components. One is random error, another one is inefficiency error. But in the case of distribution free approach, it does not include the both errors. It includes only one error. That is, all the errors are considered as an inefficiency error. So because of these things only, we are using different distributional approaches. So there are so many distributional approaches. So based on the approaches, we can able to derive the technical efficiency. As I said earlier, there are more widely using distributional approaches are half normal distribution approach, exponential distributional approach, and truncated normal distributional approach. So usually these are all the major approaches which are used to uh, derive the technical efficiency with the front end thing. So as I said that another one is input oriented approach. So earlier what I said are all output oriented approach. So output oriented approach is nothing but with the same level of input, how much output I can able to increases the output. That is said to be output oriented. So for that it will uses the formula of y is equal to function of fx into error term. So this is the case of formula we have used to get the output approach. So in the case of input approach, we will use the formula y is the function of x into e power minus nu. So actually there is a separate term has occurred in the case of output oriented approach, but there is no need of separate term. So actually the term has included in the input itself. So that is the case. So actually the output case is nothing but it shows the vertical difference of the two different person. So we have seen the A and C. So that is Chinnasamy and Annamalai. So To calculate the difference between the two different term is said to be output oriented. So the vertical difference shows the input oriented technical inefficiency. That is nothing but difference between B and C. So this is the case of input oriented technical efficiency. So in the case of input oriented technical efficiency, first we need to run the any approaches like half normal distribution or truncated normal distribution or exponential distribution. So we can able to initially we can run the output oriented approach. Then we have to predict the inefficiency term. After predicting the inefficiency term, we have to adjust the inefficiency term with uh, return to scale. So return to scale is nothing but we have to add the coefficients of all the terms. For example, the coefficients of fertilizer, coefficient of seed, coefficient of manure. So we have to add the all the coefficient term except the intercept coefficient. So by adding the all the coefficient term, we will get the return to scale value. So in the case of input oriented technical efficiency, first we need to derive the as I said that first we need to derive first we need to use the output oriented, then we have to estimate the inefficiency term of output oriented, then we need to adjust the inefficiency term with return to scale. So we need to calculate the sum of estimated coefficients, that is nothing but the return to scale. So then we need to divide the inefficiency term with the return to scale. So by doing these things, we can able to derive the inefficiency. So this is the theoretical terms behind the calculating technical efficiency. So shall we start the practical session?
Sure.
Yes, okay. So I am using the Stata version of 16. So this is the observations of 196 observation. So this is the observations of dairy farms, 196 dairy farms. Here the L log of y. So that is nothing but dependent variable is the yield of milk. So I have taken the log values. So another inputs are that is independent variables of log of land, log of labor hours, log of feed, and log of uh, number of cows the farms have. So these are all the inputs. So first I said that first we are going to use the output oriented approach. So under output oriented approach, first we are going to see the distributional free approach. So what is the first distributional free approach is nothing but corrected OLS approach. So using the corrected OLS approach, we are going to derive the technical efficiency. So as I said that for deriving the corrected OLS, first we need to, so this is the case. First we are going to see the output oriented technical efficiency. Under output oriented technical efficiency, there is a distribution free approach. So under distribution free approach, we are first going to see the corrected OLS approach. So what is when we corrected OLS approach? So in the case of corrected OLS approach, first we need to do the OLS. So first I am making the variables into global. So under X variable, I am making all the variables, all the so instead of typing each variables, I am making it as a global variable. So X variables, that is nothing but all the input variables. By typing global X var, I said that these are all the inputs which are I am going to use. That is land, labor, capital. So usually the equation function, the function we can use the Cobb-Douglas function, or we can use the translog function to derive the technical efficiency. So I am using the Cobb-Douglas function. So Cobb-Douglas function is nothing but we have to take the log for both dependent variable as well as independent variable. So actually what I am having is all the variables are logged values only. So I am directly taking the values. So I am typing the global x var. So the dependent variable is nothing but ln of y. That is the milk yield of each farms. So I am executing the commands. So for regression, as I said that first we need to do the regression. So regression of dependent variable and all the independent variable. So first I have done the regression. So after that I need to save the coefficient values. So for saving the coefficient values, the command for saving coefficient values matrix, I can name it as a BOLS. That is nothing but B's are beta coefficient. So coefficient values of OLS. So after scalar variables, so scalar variables is nothing but I am taking the log likelihood values. So using the these are all things you don't need. So I think so as I said that first I need to run the OLS. So usually the log likelihood values are used to compare the model fit. So usually the log likelihood values are when the log likelihood values are higher means we can choose the highest log likelihood values. For example, if I am running the OLS and performing other model also means I can able to compare the log likelihood values based on the highest log likelihood values. We can choose the models. So this is not our intention. So first, to derive the corrected OLS, first we need to run the OLS. So as I have run the OLS, after running the OLS, I have to predict the error. So basically, as I said that in the case of corrected OLS, they have assumed that all the errors are inefficiency error. So first we need to predict the error. So I am summarizing the error. That is nothing but inefficiency errors. So usually the standard deviation of inefficiency error is 0.14. So this is the deviation. So as I said that we have derived from the production function. What is the formula for calculating the technical efficiency? So the technical efficiency is nothing but the ratio between the actual yield divided by the potential yield. So for that we have derived the equation nothing but exponential of minus u. So I need to calculate that formula. So here first I need to obtain the inefficiencies. So obtaining the inefficiency using that formula, generate W star equal to minus E. So here E is nothing but error. I am subtracting the error in the maximum values of the error. So by subtracting the maximum values of error to the error values, I will get the U star. So as I said that formula for calculating the technical efficiency is nothing but exponential of minus U. So this is the case. So we have derived the formula now. So we have here we have derived the formula exponential of U is equal to Y, that is nothing but actual yield divided by the potential yield. This is the inefficiency measure. So here you can see. So in the case of production, we have to use the efficiency measure exponential of minus UA. In the case of we are using the cost production function, So in the case of production function, we have to use this formula exponential of minus UA. In the case of cost function, we have to use the formula of exponential of UA. So if it is lagged means we are using these two. If the variables, that is the dependent variable and independent variables are does not take the log values means we have to use this formula. So as I said that exponential of minus u is the formula to derive the efficiency. So by using this formula, I can able to derive the efficiency. So what it is meaning? So 0.77. So the all the farmers, the mean efficiency of the um, that cattle farmers are efficient of 0.77%. So they have the efficient level of 0.77. So the remaining that is remaining farmers, that is about 23% of the farmers are inefficient. So the maximum efficiency is 1. So we can able to use the graph, we can able to find. So based on the graph, so here you can able to see the distributions. So these are all the histograms. So and it also shows the distribution. So most of the farmers are lies in the range of 0.8%. That is, most of the farmers are lies in the range of 80% technical efficiency. So only some of the farmers are inefficient. So this is the case of corrected OLS. So we can able to derive the technical efficiency from the corrected OLS approach. So on the other hand, we can use the uh, mean absolute deviation. So based on the mean absolute deviation formula also, we can use the uh, we can derive the technical efficiency. So the major difference is, so first one is used the OLS. So here it uses the quantile regression. So here you can see the command is QReg. So I am using the Q regression, that is quantile regression. So based on the quantile regression, I am deriving the residuals. So here I am using the to predict the error, that is nothing but E. So to predict the E, I am using the formula predict. I am naming the E CMAD. That is nothing but the error from the CMAD. So earlier we have used the error for OLS. Now we are using the error for, I am naming it error for CMD, comma residual. Using that, I can able to predict the errors. So as I said that the CMD are also use the same pattern. So here also you can see the formula for calculating the technical efficiency is the same, exponential minus u. Here the name is different, but it has the same meaning. Exponential minus u is the formula to predict the technical efficiency. So using the thing, I can able to, so we can able to see. So using the corrected OLS, I get each farmers the mean technical efficiency of livestock farmers are about 0.77. That is 77% of the uh, farms are efficient in milk production. So while adapting the CMAD approach, about 76%, more or less same. So 76% of the farmers are technically efficient in milk production. So this is the case of two different distribution approach. But I have also said that there are so many limitations because it has assumed that the error is only inefficiency error. It does not include the error of random error. So because of these things, we are shifting to the distributional approach. So as I said that if you want to know distributional approach, it's a menu driven option is also available. So using that, you can able to get the so first you have to go to the linear model and related model. So under this, there will be a frontier model. By clicking the frontier model, you have to give the what is dependent variable and what are all the independent variable. So and then you have to, as I said, there are mostly widely are used three different distribution approaches were used to calculate the technical efficiency. So we can use the, first we are going to use the half normal distribution. So I am clicking the half normal distribution. So or else you have, by clicking directly Frontier dependent variable and independent variable. So if you type Frontier dependent and independent variables, it automatically provides the half normal distribution. So in the case, for example, if your intention is to calculate the other distribution functions, means you can include the distributions. So you can type, or else you can go by menu driven itself. So you can go then Frontier model. So earlier we have clicked the half normal. So here you have to see. So for if my intention is to calculate the distribution function in exponential form, means exponential distribution function means, so I have to give comma distribution open bracket exponential. So in the case of my intention is to calculate the truncated normal, means instead of exponential I would type t normal. So by typing t normal, I can able to get the truncated normal distribution. So okay, we have run the Frontier function. So then how we are going to predict the efficiency values? So for that, there is a simple procedure, that is nothing but you have to type predict. You have to name it anything. So for example, technical efficiency of truncated normal, comma u. So by typing this thing, you can able to predict the error. So now I am summarizing. So the u value gives the inefficiency. The exponential of minus u will give the efficiency measure. So as a you can get that using the truncated normal function. We have derived the inefficiency values. It means that 12% of the farmers are inefficiency in milk production. So for example, I am using the, now I am going to use the half normal distribution. Using the half normal distribution, so here you can see. So earlier we have seen that we have used or we have adopted the half normal distribution. So based on the half normal distribution, we get the inefficiency measures. So inefficiency measure means how the farmers are inefficient in production, milk production. So earlier case we have seen that the mean inefficiency value is nothing but 12%. But using the half normal distribution, it has the inefficiency value of 16%. It means that 16% of the farmers are inefficient in milk production. So and you have to know some other thing. So here you will you have to get the lambda value of greater than 1. So for example, if you are using some of the models, means for example, if you are using the production function model for paddy farmers. So while running the function, if the lambda value is lesser than 1 means, then it is said to be there is no inefficiency values. So here you can get the two different values of inefficiency. So one is two different types of error. One is error due to V is nothing but error due to random error. Another one is error due to inefficiency terms. So if the lambda value is less than 1 means your model does not contains any inefficiency error. So the change in the yield happens because of randomness errors. It does not due to inefficiency error. That is the meaning of when you get the lambda value is less than 1. So on the other hand, we can also verify that usually the lambda value, that is nothing but the sigma value, sigma u value should be greater than the sigma v value. So then only it is said to be there is a presence of inefficiency. The changes in the output is due to because of inefficiency. If the value of sigma wave value is higher than the sigma u means, so there is no need to calculate the inefficiency or technical efficiency, because all the yield changes were happened because of inefficiency error, not inefficiency error. It's because of random errors. That is, which are not included in the model. It may be due to rainfall, or it may be due to variation in the climate things that may influence the yield. So while running the front end thing, you have to check whether the sigma u value is greater than the sigma v. So usually the formula is nothing but, so lambda formula is nothing but sigma square u divided by sigma square v. So that is the formula for lambda. To calculating the lambda, you have to use the formula that is nothing but sigma square u divided by sigma square v. So when the numerator will be higher, that is sigma square u will be higher, then only you will get the lambda value greater than 1. Otherwise, you won't get the lambda value greater than 1. So if the lambda value is greater than 1, that is you don't need to calculate the technical efficiency. So because all the yield variation has occurred because of randomness errors. So this is the three cases. So we can use the menu driven itself. So other things does not have the menu driven things, but the distribution approach has the menu driven. But you can also, using the command, we can able to derive the distributional approaches also. So for example, I am deriving on, so I am deriving the half normal distribution. So using the SF model, so stochastic frontier model, using this, I am going to derive the half normal distribution. So SF model is nothing but stochastic frontier model. I need to set the dependent variable. PROD is nothing but production function. DAST is nothing but distribution is what is the distribution. So H is nothing but half normal distribution. So I am using the half normal distribution. So because of that, I am using distribution H. So under front end, I am giving the input variables. So using these things, I can able to derive the half normal distribution. So earlier we have derived the gamma values, lambda values with the inbuilt functions. So actually it has in the menu driven function. So we have just clicked the thing and we have get the things. So we can also using the step-by-step method. So we can use the step-by-step method also for calculating the gamma, calculating the lambda, sigma square u, sigma square v. For all the things we can use to step-by-step method. So this is nothing but first I have used the scalar, so log likelihood values. Usually the log likelihood values tells about the model fit. So after that I am predicting the coefficient vectors. So on the so BF nothing but the slope coefficient, H is nothing but using the half normal distribution. I am making the coefficient as a matrix. So here one is nothing but single row. That is nothing but single column. So with in the single, this is the single column value. The coefficient is the single column value. I am making it as a matrix. So to derive the U sigma, V sigma, and lambda, and all other things, I am going step by step. So for that, predicting the U sigma. So here it is a menu driven function. Here you have seen that. sigma u, sigma v. These are all the already inbuilt function. So if you want to go step by step function means you can use these things. So by typing the matrix BV, that is nothing but error of random error. This is also single column matrix. So using these things, you can able to predict the U sigma values, V sigma values, and to recover the variance parameters. As I said that sigma square U value should be higher than the sigma square V. For that, I am using the simple formula SF transform. So based on this, I can able to get the coefficient values. So here you can check. Here we get the sigma U value is 0.4. Sigma V value is 0.004. So as I said earlier, when the sigma square U value is higher than the sigma V value, then only there is a meaning to calculate the technical efficiency. So when the sigma U value is higher only, it is the meaning that there is a presence of inefficiency. So the yield has changed because of inefficiency. So now we have the sigma square value is greater than sigma square sigma V value. So there is a presence of inefficiency in our production function. So similarly, we can able to derive all the things. So we can use the sigma square U, sigma square V. So by derive the each distributional functions. So we can also go by menu driven, or we can go by step method. So far we have completed under output oriented technical efficiency. We have seen what is a distribution tree approach, what is distributional approaches. So under distribution approach, we have seen corrected OLS and CMAD. Under distribution approach, we have seen half normal, truncated normal, and exponential thing. So these three things are we can do by menu driven, and also we can do by step also. So as I said that there is another thing, that is nothing but input oriented technical efficiency. So for calculating input oriented technical efficiency, as I said that first we need to calculate at the output oriented technical efficiency. From output technical efficiency, we need to estimate the inefficiency values, and then we have to adjusted the inefficiency values with the scalar values, that is nothing but return to scale. So now we are going to see the inefficiency thing, that is an input oriented half normal distribution function. So for calculating input oriented half normal distribution approach, before that we have to run the output oriented half normal distributional approach. So here I have already run the output oriented approach, that is using the half normal distribution function. I have run the thing. So after that, now I am going to run the input oriented half normal distribution function. First I need to run the output oriented thing. So now I have run the output oriented. So after that, I need to predict the error values. So using the SF predict command, I can able to predict the inefficiency errors. So by this, you can able to see that 0.85% of the farmers are efficient in milk production, and 16% of the farmers are inefficient in milk production. So now I have predicted the inefficiency values from the output oriented approach. So now I am going to use the stochastic front end. That is nothing but input oriented approach. So after running the input approach, I need to calculate the return to scale. As I said that I need to adjust the return to scale with the inefficiency values. So inefficiency values is nothing but JLMS. That is nothing but 60% of the farmers are inefficient in milk production. So I need to divide the return to scale with inefficiency values. Then only I can able to get the thing. So now I am going to use the formula to predict the return to scale. So return to scale is nothing but I need to add all the coefficient values except constant. So I get the value of return to scale is 1. That is nothing but it is somewhat constant return to scale. So now I am adjusting the. So here you can see that JLMS. So which has already predicted from the previous thing. R is nothing but the return to scale. I have divide the JLMS, that is inefficiency, by the return to scale. By dividing these things, I will get the input oriented inefficiency values. So this is the input. So it is also mostly around 16%. So it also means that the farmers are using 15.8% of extra input usages. So this is the meaning of these things. So this is what we can able to predict the inefficiency using the input oriented approach. So this is what about these classes. So we can also use the panels frontier also. This is the cross-sectional things. So we can use the panel things, panel frontier also we can use. So with this I am stopping. So if you have any doubts, please ask any doubts. So if you have any doubts. Doubts இருந்தா சொல்லுங்க. ஸோ ஓகே, டவுட்ஸ் அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்துச்சுன்னா கூட நீங்க வாட்ஸ்அப்லயோ இல்லை மெயிலையோ வந்து கான்டாக்ட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. Yes, metastochastic frontier is nothing but. So actually, we had the assumption that all the. So usually meta frontier எதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்றாங்கன்னா வந்து கண்ட்ரி வைஸ் கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது வந்து டெக்னிக்கல் எஃபிஷியன்சி வந்து கண்ட்ரி வைஸ் கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது மெட்டா ஃப்ரண்டியர் யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் டெக்னிக்கல் எஃபிஷியன்சி ஆஃப் பேடி ஃபார்மர் போத் இந்தியா அண்டு சைனா கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது வந்து யூஸ்வலா வி யூஸ் த மெட்டா ஃப்ரண்டியர் அப்ரோச்.
ஹலோ சார்.
ஹரி சொல்லு ஹரி.
சார் மெட்டாஸ்டாகாஸ்டிக் ஃப்ரண்டியர்ல உங்களுக்கு இது வந்து ஒரே ஸ்ட்ரெச்சில் நீங்க பண்ணிடுறீங்க, அது எப்படி பண்ணுவீங்க?
மெட்டா ஃப்ரண்டியர் தனி மெத்தட். ஆக்சுவலா இது வந்து அசம்ஷன்ஸ் வந்து வேற வேற இல்ல. ப்ரொடக்ஷன் வந்து இப்ப இந்தியானா ஒரே அளவா இருக்கும். ஓரளவு வந்து கிளைமேட் கண்டிஷன் இது எல்லாமே வந்து சேமா இருக்கிறதுனால வந்து நம்ம இது யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம். மெட்டா ஃப்ரண்டியர் தனி அப்ரோச். ஸோ கம்பேரிசன் ஆஃப் ஹெட்ரோஜினியஸ் கண்ட்ரிஸ் அது மாதிரி கேசஸ் தான் வந்து மெட்டா ஃப்ரண்டியர் யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம்.
சார் கம்பேரிங் ஒரு ஏதோ ஒன்று கம்பேர் பண்ண ஒன்று வச்சு, ஆனா இதுல வந்து அப்போ வந்து 2 டைம் நீங்க பண்ணுவீங்களா? அதுல எரர் டர்ம்ஸ் மாறும் நினைக்கிறேன் சார். இதுல
மாறும் எரர் டர்ம்ஸ் மாறும்.
இதுல இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்காது,
இதுல இருக்க மாதிரி இருக்காது.
சார் எனக்கு டவுட் என்னன்னா அது எப்படி ரன் பண்றதுன்னு தெரியல சார். 2-3 ஆர்டிகல் படிச்சேன்.
ஓகே, நான் பார்த்துட்டு வேணா சொல்றேன். மெட்டா ஃப்ரண்டியர் நானும் ரன் பண்ணி பார்த்ததில்ல, பட் கான்செப்டா தான்.
ஓகே சார், கம்பேர் பண்ணணும் அவ்வளவுதான்.
அதாவது ஹோமோஜினியஸ்னா மோரார்லெஸ் ஹோமோஜினியஸ், அதாவது இந்தியானா இந்தியாக்குள்ள இருக்க ஒரு ஸ்டேட்டுக்கு இன்னொரு ஸ்டேட்டு கம்பேர் பண்ணா நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். பட்
ஓகே
வந்து என்டையர்லி டிஃப்ரெண்ட் என்வரான்மெண்ட்டுக்கு வந்து டெக்னிக்கல் எஃபிஷியன்சி கால்குலேட் பண்றதுக்கு மெட்டா குவான்டைல் யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க.
சார் இப்போ ஒரு ஆர்டிகல் படிச்சேன் சார். அதாவது நியூசிலாந்து வந்து ரெண்டு ஐலாண்ட் சேர்ந்ததான் நியூசிலாந்து. ஒரு ஐலாண்ட் இருக்கும், ஒரு நார்த் ஐலாண்டுக்கு சவுத் ஐலாண்டுக்கு ஒரு டெய்ரி கம்பேரிசன் கொடுத்துருந்தாங்க.
அதான் சொல்றேன், என்டையர்லி டிஃப்ரெண்ட் கேசஸ்க்கு வந்து மெட்டா குவான்டைல் யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம்.
ஓகே
இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன், நான் பார்த்துட்டு சொல்றேன்.
ஓகே சார், ஓகே தேங்க்யூ.
உதயா இருக்கானா? கேள்றா, ஏதாவது கேள்றா. அதான் based on the distribution only. So first you have to check the error distribution. Otherwise, as I said that based on the log likelihood ratio. So there is a test called log likelihood ratio test. Based on the test, you can able to compare the two different method. For example, first you have to run the half normal distribution. Again, you have to run the truncated normal distribution. After that, you have to use the log likelihood ratio test. So based on the test, you can able to select. So based on the log likelihood values also, you can able to choose. So if you are adopting different methods, so ப்ரொடக்ஷன் டேட்டா இருக்குதுன்னா வந்து எல்லா மெத்தட்லயும் நீங்க ரன் பண்ணி வச்சுட்டு அந்த லாக் லைக்லிஹுட் நம்ம வந்து ப்ரிடிக்ட் பண்ணோம்ல, வேல்யூஸ் ஆஃப் லாக் லைக்லிஹுட், அதுதான் வந்து மாடல் ஃபிட்டை வந்து மென்ஷன் பண்றது. ஸோ எதுக்கு வந்து ஹையஸ்ட் லாக் லைக்லிஹுட் வேல்யூஸ் வருதோ அதை நீங்க வந்து சூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். அதே மாதிரி விச் ஒன் இஸ் பெஸ்ட்னா டிஏ ஆர் ஃப்ரான்டேர்னா, டிஏ வந்து நான் பேராமெட்ரிக் அப்ரோச். ஸோ டிஏ ரன் பண்ணும்போது வந்து உங்களுக்கு அந்த ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் சிக்மா ஸ்கொயர் யூ, சிக்மா ஸ்கொயர் வி, அந்த ப்ராப்ளம்லாம் இருக்காது உங்களுக்கு. தட் இஸ் உங்க மாடல்ல வந்து எரர் வந்து, அதாவது உங்க இதுல யூஸ்வலா வந்து ஈல்டு வேரியன்ஸ் இருக்கும். ஸோ ஈல்டு வேரியன்ஸ் வந்து டெக்னிக்கல் எஃபிஷியன்சி, அதாவது டெக்னிக்கல் இன்எஃபிஷியன்சினால ஏற்படுதா, இல்ல வந்து டியூ டு ரேண்டம் எரர்னால வந்து ஏற்படுதாங்கிறது வந்து நம்மளால தெரிஞ்சுக்க முடியாது. டிஏ நீங்க அதுல வந்து சிக்மா ஸ்கொயர் யூ, சிக்மா ஸ்கொயர் வி, லாம்டா வேல்யூஸ் இது எதுவுமே வராது. அது வந்து நான் பேராமெட்ரிக் அப்ரோச். ஸோ சிம்பிளா வந்து அந்த இருக்க டிஸ்டன்ஸை பொறுத்து அது வந்து இது பண்ணி கொடுக்கும். ஆனா ஃப்ரான்டையர் வந்து பேராமெட்ரிக் அப்ரோச். ஸோ மோஸ்ட்லி ஆல் ஆஃப் தம் ப்ரிஃபர்ஸ் பேராமெட்ரிக் அப்ரோச். ஸோ பட் ஸோ ஆஃப்டர் வந்து நம்ம இது யூஸ் பண்றோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், பேராமெட்ரிக் ஃப்ரான்டையர் யூஸ் டிஏல என்ன அட்வான்டேஜ்னா, அது வந்து ஸ்கேல் எஃபிஷியன்சி, டெக்னிக்கல் சேஞ்ச் எஃபிஷியன்சி, ஸோ இது எல்லாமே வந்து அட்ட ஸ்ட்ரெச்சில் வந்து உங்களுக்கு கொடுத்துரும் டிஏ நீங்க ரன் பண்ணீங்கன்னா. பட் வந்து ஃப்ரான்டையர்ல வந்து டிரைவ் பண்றது, ஸ்டாட்டால டிரைவ் பண்றது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம். பட் அந்த ஃப்ரான்டையர் 4 பாயிண்ட் சம்திங் இருக்குல்ல, அதுல வந்து நீங்க யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது ஈஸியா வந்து டிரைவ் பண்ணலாம். ஸோ மோஸ்ட்லி ஃப்ரான்டையர் வந்து ப்ரிஃபர் பண்ணுங்க. ஓகே ஓகேடா, தேங்க்யூடா, தேங்க்யூ. ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ. தேங்க்யூ.